Hello everyone, welcome to Hacktoberfest in Nigeria, a celebration of open source. Today we are going to be talking about open source. This event is organized by Code Campus International and Accelerated Coding Bootcamp with a mission to train world-class software engineers. And today we'll be having this virtual event where we would be participating, or we'll call it the launch of Hacktoberfest in Nigeria, which is a 1 month long celebration of open source. So you guys are all welcome. In the course of the 2 hours of this event, you would be learning about open source. For those of us who are newbies, you'll be learning about Hacktoberfest. We'll be having demos and we'll be having workshop. So I want to welcome Philip. I want to welcome Emmanuel once again. Sadiq, you're welcome. Gabriel, the first to arrive, you're welcome. Abdul Wahab, you are highly welcome. That's our workshop coach for today. So please, we will be moving straight into networking session. And I want to encourage you to unmute yourself and just, introduce yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Gabriel, we can hear you.
Okay, my name is Gabriel Simon. I am a software developer, majorly mobile, Android. So in Android, I write Java and Kotlin. And sorry, are you still there?
Yes. Go on.
Okay. In Android, I do mostly Java and Kotlin. And I like to learn all the time. If there's any opportunity to learn, I always avail myself for it. And also see what I can also gain from others. That's why I'm here.
All right, thank you for that introduction, Gabriel. We're excited to have you around, and we also look forward to knowing you better as we go on with today's event. All right, so who wants to introduce him or herself again?
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Philip.
My name is Philip. Hello, I'm a front-end developer as well. I write JavaScript, React, and Node.js for backend. And I'm really happy to be here. And I hope that the meeting today will be another revelation for me. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Philip, for that wonderful introduction of yourself. We are glad to have you around. And hopefully you are going to be saying a thing or two to our attendees today. Yeah. All right, so Fumito is in the house. Welcome, Fumito. It's good to have you around. Who else wants to introduce himself or herself?
You.
Hello? Who would like to introduce himself? All right, let me call on Fumito Blessed. Fumito is going to be making a presentation shortly. So maybe he could as well tell us about himself.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Fumito, like he said. So I'm an IT administrator and training and support specialist. That's basically, and I also do a bit of data analysis. But by the way, I do some development, so like I do a little bit of coding. I'm just a hobbyist. I don't do it like full time. So what I do mostly is IT and data work for my day-to-day job. So that's it.
Okay, thank you very much, Fumito, for that introduction.
Pleasure.
We look forward to participating in your demo of how we can maximize this Hacktoberfest, in a couple of minutes from now. So who else wants to introduce himself or herself? Okay, all right, all right. I think what I'm going to do now is to move each and every one of us into breakout rooms. Okay, so that for the next 7 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes, we can just chat amongst ourselves. Okay, so I'm going to create a room now. We are all going to find ourselves in a breakout room where we have to just network. Okay, all right, so let's do that now. Hello guys. So you have all been assigned to join a breakout room. Okay, so we are just on the networking session of this event. So just feel free to get to know yourselves in the breakout room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, 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 welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much for the virtual session.
How was the networking session, guys?
It was good. It was good. I got to know Wahab. I got to know Oluwafumito, and I got to know Raymond. It was a nice session. Thank you very much.
Splendid, splendid. Yeah. All right, guys. Who else wants to go? How was the networking session? Fumito, did you meet someone new?
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
All right. Thank God. You're welcome. I can remember you. Glad to have you in the house today. Dankat Raymond Delmont. You are also welcome. Welcome to today's event. Sunday Omachoko. You are highly welcome. Welcome to today's event. Guys, are all welcome. So now we'll be moving on. Let me quickly drop the schedule in the chat room so that we would all keep ourselves accountable for today's timing. Okay, we have someone joined us from Maiduguri. Wow. Ajit Abdurrahman, front-end developer from Maiduguri. You are highly welcome. Thank you for being here with us today. All right, so more and more people are coming in. So it promises to be an exciting to us today. All right, so very quickly, we will be moving on to the next item of today's agenda, which is intro to open source, where we will be talking about open source technology for 5 minutes, and then we would also move on to talking about Hacktoberfest. And I'm going to call on Philip, one of our coaches in Code Campus International, one of our coaches at Abuja Axe. You know, he introduced himself earlier, and he's going to just be sharing with us what open source is, especially for those who are just, you know, new to programming. So Philip, you can just unmute yourself and then give us, you know, a presentation on what open source is.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning once again.
Thank you, Mr. Mayokon, for this privilege, this opportunity. I so cherish it. And we're talking on open source for a couple of minutes. I was telling Mr. Oluwafumito in the breakout session just now of how I've been developing for a while, but only got to start using Git and GitHub early this year, thereabouts. And so what it has taught me is collaborations, working on open projects, and you know, a whole lot of things so far. And I could only wish that I knew better, I knew earlier than that. So basically, open source. Hello, can you hear me?
With you, we can hear you perfectly.
Okay. Okay, open source basically is just talking about the software with the source code that anyone can inspect, anyone can modify, and anyone can enhance at any point in time. Okay, first of all, we have to talk about source code. The source code is that part of the software or program that most computer users don't ever see. Is the code, now what we call why we program. Computer programmers can manipulate to change how a piece of software works. So programmers who have access to computer programs, uh, the source code can improve that program by adding features to it or fixing parts that don't always work correctly. So getting those contributions from anybody, anybody can just have access to that source code without any restriction, make any changes, uh, and it will actually be merged like we are going to learn today in pull requests and all that. So contributing your portal to a program or a file or software is basically what we call open source. Okay, so there are several open source projects. There are so many projects online that are open source, while there are some that are not. You know, projects like Facebook cannot be open source, definitely. Projects like big brands, they cannot be open source. But there are also free projects that we can take on as a junior developer or even senior developer. You can just go on try hands-on projects that you can work on. They are open source, free for anybody to contribute. And that's just the term open source. So the tech world, we're a kind of really privileged industry because we have that chance, we have that opportunity to learn on live projects. You can learn on hands-on on open source project. It's not really obtainable in other industries, and that is why I really commend the open source community in the tech world and all they are doing. The open source. Listen, okay, so basically, I want to look at the difference between an open source project and other types of software. Difference between open source software and other software. So some softwares has a source code that only a person a team or an organization who created it can maintain or have exclusive control over it. Only a team of developers can modify it. So people call this kind of software closed source, not really open source. So it's closed source, or it's called a proprietary software. Okay, so we have open source, closed source, just as the name implies. Closed source can only be managed by a group of a person, a team, or an organization specifically meant for that task. So it cannot be open source. Why the open source, like I've explained, is anybody can edit, anybody can modify, anybody can pick up on anything, make any changes. If it breaks, nothing goes wrong. If it works, it's still fine and all that. So that's open source. So only in closed source, only original authors of the software can legally copy the software. Okay, so the source code, it will be illegal for you to copy the source code of a software that is not open source. When I say that, I mean closed source softwares. So they can only be legally copied by original authors or authorized persons. They can only be copied, inspected, and you can only author things when you are authorized. So in order to use those kind of softwares, the computer users must agree by the time of signing a license or a kind of agreement that they will not do anything with the software that the authors have not expressly permitted. So you only work in line with the agreement you have signed. Companies like Microsoft Office, Adobe, they are examples of such softwares. You cannot just copy their source code and do anything to it. But on the other hand, open source is different. Open source, the authors make the source code available to others who would like to view that code, for learning purpose. You want to see how this is built. You want to see how this is done. Uh, so anybody can open that, view that code, can copy it, learn from it. You can change it, you can share it. Okay, so there are so many programs like that that are open source. So as the closed source softwares, users must accept terms of license, some terms and conditions when they use open source softwares. Okay, but legal terms of open source licenses, they differ dramatically from those of those closed source. So open source affects the way people can use, study, modify, and distribute softwares. Then, so basically, these are the differences between open source and then closed source. So is open source only important to computer programmers? We want to look at, is open source only important to computer? No. Open source technology, and open source softwares, they benefit both programmers and non-programmers. Okay, because investors, uh, investors can also look at open source projects. They don't have to have any knowledge of programming. Inventors and all that, they don't need to have any knowledge of programming. So most of some inventors, like I said, can open any program. They're not restricted, no restriction whatsoever. So with much internet itself, it's actually open source. So anybody has access to whatever is there. And I think basically that is a very good intro to open source. And what we are gathered here to do today is actually contributing on open source, working on projects, and seeing how we learn from it. So I want to stop here, and I thank you all for giving me audience. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Philip. Clap, clap, clap. Please, let's clap for him. Virtual claps. Wow, thank you so much. That's a very wonderful presentation. He has broken down what open source it is for us. This is a kind of innovation whereby you can contribute and make use of, you can contribute to codes and make use of codes that even it wasn't you that wrote it in the first place. Okay, so it's a community thing. It's a joint effort. And just like he shared with us, it's not only about programming. Even writers can be part of the open source community. You can contribute anything. It's all about sharing. It's all about making your discoveries available for other people to access and use in whatever they are working on. So, and vice versa. Okay, so that's what we are here to promote today. And one of the organizations that normally promotes open source, especially among software developers, is DigitalOcean. And DigitalOcean is a cloud hosting environment, and they organize what is known as Hacktoberfest every month of October in a year. So this Hacktoberfest is happening between today, 1st of October, and 31st of October. And you have a chance to contribute to open source repos on GitHub. And when you're able to make 4 contributions, 4 pull requests, you have the opportunity to get an Oktoberfest t-shirt shipped to your address. Okay, so we are going to be having a demo of a pull request pretty soon by one of our coaches. But before we do that, I would like to play a video from the CEO of DigitalOcean to celebrate this year's Oktoberfest. Okay, so just stay tuned as I share my screen and play this video. Just a second.
Hi, Yancey Sproul here, DigitalOcean. Hi, Yancey Sproul here, DigitalOcean CEO, and I'd like to welcome you to the 7th annual Hacktoberfest. Hacktoberfest is a month-long celebration of open source software for all 31 days in October. And in this event, this month-long event, we bring together over 100,000 people to contribute to the betterment of open source software. At this annual event, we have open source projects where developers become contributors, students and early learners, learn more and build their passion and experience. And we gather people together online. Historically, we've done offline, but in 2020, I suspect will be predominantly online. But we bring people together from over 150 countries throughout the world. At DigitalOcean, one of our core values is around community. And the pillar of the language of that value is we say, our community is bigger than just us. And I can find no better representation of our investment and our passion for fostering a global community of developers and entrepreneurs than Hacktoberfest. It's an important element for us because it brings so many people together in this very global way for 31 days, and it generates so much excitement and passion around one of our core value propositions as a business, which is around open source. And what we believe happens during the month of Hacktoberfest, not only do we bring people together, but we help people learn and we help people grow. And that's a fundamental tenet of what we're all about at DigitalOcean in terms of enabling global entrepreneurs and developers to test ideas, build their businesses, and chase their dreams. So what we hope that you'll gain is that you'll participate, you'll learn a little bit more, you'll join a project, you'll meet new people, and you'll help make open source software better for the legions of people who use it today and well into the future. So with that, I can't wait to see you all and what you will come up with this year at Hacktoberfest. And remember that for those projects that are accepted, you get the famous DigitalOcean Hacktoberfest t-shirt, a prize well worth earning during the month of October. So until then, be well, and we'll see you in October.
All right. So thank you all for watching. That's the CEO of DigitalOcean, the organizers of Hacktoberfest globally. And like you heard him said, by being a participant of this event, you are going to get a free t-shirt shipped to you. So that's the beauty of being a participant of Hacktoberfest. You just need to make some pull requests on GitHub, and then you stand a chance of getting this. It's actually automatic. It's automatic. Meanwhile, they will be shipping to only 70,000 people globally. Okay, so you need to start making your pull request immediately. Okay, after today's event or even during the event, you can actually make your full pull requests and then stand a chance to get this t-shirt. It's not really about the t-shirt anyway. It's about learning. It's about becoming better programmers. It's about contributing to open source and making the world a better place. So I really want to welcome everyone for joining us today. People keep coming in. The participation keeps increasing. Thank you guys for all coming. Right now, I'm going to be calling on one of our coaches to give us a demo of a pull request. It's going to be it's going to be showing us how to register for the challenge, because this this event today is quite different from the challenge on GitHub. So there's a process for your pull requests to be registered with DigitalOcean, for them to know that, okay, you actually did this pull request, and then ship your t-shirt to you. So Fumito will be giving us a presentation for about 20 minutes, where it's going to be demoing a pull request. And then after that, we will now have a workshop by Abdulwahab Adeboale Ashime on how to, on an introduction to GitHub, Git and open source. That's like a 1-hour workshop, especially for the newbies in our midst. So Fumito, it's
Hi.
open.
Good morning. Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Just say hi or just clap or something, just to let me know, so you can hear me. So I'll be needing to share my screen. This is not going to take very long, 15-20 minutes. We're going to be done. But before, I want to just do just kind of like, I'm seeing your question, Said. It's okay to start from scratch. So what I'm going to be doing is very, very basic. So I just wanted to know, is there anybody here who already has experience with Git or GitHub? Or let me start with anybody that doesn't have any experience with Git and GitHub. I know there will be a demo later, but it's good to know if there's anyone here who is a total newbie to Git. Anybody, just raise your hand if you are like a total newbie. Okay, I see one hand. Okay, so I'm just going to briefly run through that to, because we're going to be needing Git and GitHub for our presentation. So let me turn on my video so that it's not like you guys are just talking to ghosts. Okay, so this is me. So first and foremost, we start with registering. So on the platform, so this is my screen at the moment. Sorry. So usually to register for the Hacktoberfest event, so you go to hacktoberfest.digitalocean.com. So that's the website to register for Hacktoberfest. So once you open that, so it should automatically redirect you. So you see the website, this is the website. Just click on start hacking. Before we start, let me just do a little bit of my own experiences. So my first October 1st experience was in 2017. I remember I was in Niger State at the time. So at the time it was just, I just started software. I just, ventured into software and, it was just learning. And somehow I came across this, and for me it was like, wow, let me just do something, like gain some experience. And that was how I signed up. Now, because for me, I was in total starter. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of reading, and just there was really nobody to guide me. So I was kind of like just on my own. So it took a lot of trying before I got but I was able to get it, and then I got my shirt shipped to me. I think I got my shirt in 2018 around January or so. So that was good. I tried again in 2018. My shirt was shipped, but somehow I didn't have the time to go and pick it up. It's probably still at my post office at the moment, so I didn't get to pick it. But last year I started, but due to work commitments, I couldn't, complete it. Yeah, please, if my time is going out, please let me know. Now you can see sign in to GitHub. Now because I'm already signed in, I wouldn't be needing to sign in again. But if you have not signed up already, please, at this point, it would be good if we all can, if we all can follow along. It will really make it a lot easier if you can follow along. Now, this is what it looks like. So all you need to just do is enter your GitHub username. Now you can see my own GitHub username has already popped up. I'm not going to sign in here because I already am signed in. So I'm going to just share. I'm going to share where I'm signed in. Okay. So I'm going to. Oh, my voice disappeared. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm going to. So now when you've signed in, this is what it's going to show you. So I'm going to just, because I'm signed in already, it's going to redirect. As soon as I click on start hacking. Okay, so I'm signed in here, so you can see start hacking, login. Now, it's redirecting. Now you can see, because I'm already signed in, so you can see, guys, so you can see this is what the profile looks like. Now, before this, just before this session, I quickly ran to, just make a little bit of just a trial and error pull request to an old repository. So you can see from my screen, I believe you all can see my screen. You can see one of 4 pull requests. So I made this request just this morning. Now, the whole idea of Hacktoberfest is contribute to open source, and someone already talked about open source. So any repository that is available for the public to view online is regarded as open source. So, so we're going to try to make I'm going to try to make a new request now. Now, what I want is I want someone in the audience that has a GitHub repository or any open source project that we can try to walk through from now. So anybody wants to volunteer, maybe their repository, if you have a GitHub repository, just, any project, you can just quickly make a small change to, so the idea is just to make a change to an open source project. And really, it's very, very easy. So I'm going to share just a little slide, just a small slide I prepared earlier. It's not, it's nothing serious. So slideshow, current slide. So to make any, sorry, my computer is a bit slow. Let me just, so this is basically the steps to contribute to any open source project. So the first thing is to find a repository that you are interested in contributing to. Can you all see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay.
Presentation.
Okay, so it's basically about 5 to 6 steps. Doesn't require yeah. So this is it. So you select a repository, then sorry, you do what is known as a fork. So you fork the repository to your own local repository, to your own GitHub repository. Then depending, you can decide to clone it to your local machine, make your changes, push the changes to GitHub, and then you compare, and then create the pull request. I have a GitHub repository here that we can contribute to. Just so it's on full screen now. So that's basically all the steps you need to do. So we're going to go back to head back to my Chrome browser. Now, github.com. So now you can see so you can see a few repositories I've contributed to, in the past few weeks or months. So they are here. Now, the first, when I first started, I started learning web development on Free Code Camp. Yeah, you can see. So if you can see my screen, you can see Queen Selassie created a repository, Free Code Camp. Now, this was where I learned web development from, and it was only natural for me to want to contribute. So this was the first repository. So my first October, I contributed, I made all my 4 requests on Free Code Camp. And that was how I did it then. Now, what I did mostly, as someone that is a technical writer, I like to write a lot. So what I did then, because at the time, Free Code Camp was still evolving and they needed a lot of contributions in terms of, people writing articles. So all I did then was just writing articles. So the point here is, even if you are not so comfortable writing code, you can contribute anything. You can contribute documentation, you can contribute just writing, your writing skills. So 2017 was just my writing skills. So if you are familiar with Free Code Camp, you see that, you know that it has a lot of articles that you can read. So there were some articles around areas of my, my expertise, mathematics, physics. So what I did then was, I'll go prepare something on those topics, and then I'll come and contribute it to Free Code Camp. And as it were, today, if you go back there, you still see some of those contributions. I made them. Nobody else can change those contributions. So that's like a legacy for me. So that's the idea, for you to contribute to something, bigger, something that is more than you. And now, for today, we're going to contribute to now, where do you get the repository from? You can research. So like, you can use, I don't know, I'm not able to copy this. SBOS Online. So let me just see, SBOS Online. Let me just type it. 2020 Django. So this is a repository. Now you can get your repository from anywhere. When you register on Hacktoberfest, they usually recommend some open source projects you can contribute to. They usually recommend. So you can start from there. But I already mentioned one. Free Code Camp is open source. You can go and look at Free Code Camp's repository and contribute to it. So it's just find something that you are comfortable contributing to. It may be a mistake. It may be something you just noticed, maybe a typographical error. Make the change, commit. So that's where it starts from. So now, if you look at the slide, so there are 6 steps. So now that we've seen a repository that we want to contribute to. So we want to contribute to DjangoCon Africa's repository. The next thing to do is to fork this particular repository. So if you look at my GitHub here, you see fork. So fork means make a local, make a copy of this repository on my own GitHub profile. Now, if I click on fork, now you can see where should we fork this. So I'm going to fork it to my personal repository, which is Fumitoblessed, github.com/Fumitoblessed. Now, you can see it's forking already. Now, once this is done, the next step, so you can see I have a copy of this. Now, if you look at the link here, you can see that it's now inside my own repository. So it's github.com/Fumitoblessed.2020. So now it's as if I own this particular project now. It's my project, even though I copied it from someone else's project. Now, that's the beauty of software collaboration. You do something on your own. Now, anything I do here is on my own repository. It's not going to affect what SBOS Online has done. It's not going to affect. That's one of the things that Philip said during his presentation. It doesn't break anything. So anything I do here is on my own terms. Whatever I do on my own project. Now, once I've done this, I have done the forking. Now I want to clone it to my computer so that I can view the source code. Now, you see something here. You see code. You see clone. Now, GitHub CLI. Let me just use the HTTPS. So now, you can see this copy link. So I'm going to copy this link. Once you click on link, copy this link. Now I'm going to open up my browser and my code editor. Now, I'm going to share my code editor with you. Now, this is my code editor. I want to clone this particular repository. I'm assuming here that we all are a bit comfortable with, to an extent, we are all comfortable with command line interfaces and, you know, traversing the directories. Anybody that is not, that doesn't know anything about CLI and, you know, interacting with the command line, if you are there. So let me just, you know, so that I can quickly do a brief overview of that. Okay, so what I just did here now, now what I've just done here is I want to clone what I just copied, the repository. I want to clone it to my local machine. I use the command git clone. Now, this is the folder I want to clone it to. I want to clone it to, I have a dev folder on my computer, and in that dev folder, I have my repository, Hacktoberfest, which is where I put all my repositories. Now, I want to clone the new repo that I just forked to my GitHub profile. So I used git clone. Git clone is the shortcode for that. Now, immediately I click on enter, it's going to clone it and it's going to download it to my local computer. And from there, I'll be able to view it directly in my browser. So it's still cloning now, but if you can see that it's already cloning. If you look towards the right, where I have my mouse there, so you can see that it's already cloning. So I have it on my computer now. Now, it's cloned. So I'm going to open up the directory. So this is the directory. This is the directory. This is all the files that are on this particular project. Now, the next thing I want to do now is now go into that particular folder. Now, if you look at this, if you can see my terminal here, I'm still in my Hacktoberfest directory, but that is not where I want to work. I want to work in the 2020 Django Girls folder. So I'm going to change directory into that particular folder. I'll change directly into that particular folder. Now, I can quickly just have a look at what is in this particular directory. So you can see, so these are all the files and folders in this directory. Now, the index.md file, let's see the index.md file. Let's open that up. Let's say this is where, no, let's not make any changes here. Okay, so it's the same thing basically. Okay, so this is readme.md. So this is, let's say this is where I want to make my change. This is where I want to make my change. Let's just assume. So you can see contributing. So basically we can read this up later. Now, excuse me, sorry. I can make any change at all. So at the moment, let's just do a git status. So meaning, let us check what is happening. So at the moment, I've not made any changes to this repository on my own account. So I've not made any changes. So let's just trying to see what change I can make now. What last step? Sorry, which last step? Which last step? The one I just did that I was it the one that I checked the status, or the one that I checked the status? So to check your status, you just use the git status command. So this will give you how your working directory is. Now, if you were referring to the one before that, which is how I navigated, there's a command called change directory. It works in your command prompt. It works in most terminals. Change directory means, move from one folder to another. A directory is just another name for a folder. Now, change directory ... means go back one directory. So if you look here now, I have dev Fumitor Blessed. Dev is the name of the home directory. Then there's a Fumitor Blessed folder in that. Now inside Fumitor Blessed, we have the Django Con Africa directory. So if I want to move down, I'll just put change directory and then to where I want to move to. So this is where I want to be working. Now, a lot of times you clone a project and you start working and you forget to change directory. If you don't change your directory, you will anything you do will not work. So I've changed the directory. Now let me make a change to the index.md file. I don't want to do anything that's going to break. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to add a comment. So this is a live demo on making a pull request on GitHub. Now this is my change. This is the change I have made to this particular repository. No matter how small or how huge it is, the truth is I've made a change. How do I know I've made the change? So now if I come back to Git status, you can see that I have a change, modified index.md. So I've changed something in this particular project. Now, to make this change persistent in my own GitHub repository, I have to add it to this particular Git. So use the Git add to do that. Now, if I look at Git status again, you can see modified. Now, you can see that before it was red, meaning that I had an unsaved change. Now it's green, meaning that the change has been changed. The change has been saved. Now, to make it permanent, make the change permanent, I'll do what is known as a Git commit. So to put a Git commit, and then I'll put a message. So add comments to repository. And all those things. Now I've committed the change. Now to push this to GitHub. Now remember, on my local computer, I'm working on Git, not GitHub. Git is a version control system, meaning that it helps you keep track of your changes. Please, if I'm too fast, let me know so that I can slow down a bit. Git is a version control system. It helps you keep track of your changes. Now, GitHub is a collaboration portal built on Git. Now, to push this to the collaboration portal, which is GitHub, I'm going to use the git push command. Now, because Git is already set up, GitHub is already set up on my computer, all I need to do is just do git push. It's going to automatically take it up. So it's going to send the change online. So just a few seconds, and we're going to see this at work.
Guy, how far now?
So just, hello?
Just go on, Fumito. That was someone that was actually not muted, but the person is muted now.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now you can see something like remote resolving deltas completed with one local object. Now, I have pushed these changes to GitHub. Now, we're going to move over to GitHub now. We're going to move back to GitHub, and then we'll see our change immediately. So I'm going to share my screen again. Yeah, so you can see GitHub. So let's go back to my GitHub page. Now you can see already the change is already reflecting in GitHub. So Fumito Blessed 2020, this. So let's see. Now, if you look here, you can see that this is my own copy of the project. You can see something like this branch is one commit ahead of SBOS online develop. This means that I have created a commit message. I have contributed to it on my own side of the code, on my own part of the code. I've created a small change. And if you look at our steps here, so we've selected our repository, we've forked it, we've cloned it, we've made our changes, we've pushed it to GitHub. We've seen our change that we've pushed. Now, what's left is just to compare and create a pull request. Now,
Hello.
Hello.
Is it just me or he lost his audio?
I think there is a challenge with the network. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So all right. So let's just. I think he's not on the call right now. So that's an issue with the network, I believe. So we would wait for his return. Okay. We would wait for his return. All right. Okay. He's joining us back.
Yeah, he's back.
Sahid is asking a question. So is there a chance I can ask you for guidance relating a Python code? Sure. That's why we are here. We are here to network. There are lots of Python programmers in the house. Okay, so we are going to be sharing contacts for you to network with. Fumito, you're welcome back.
yeah, sorry, I think I lost my network.
Okay, cool. Welcome back.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, as I was saying, so we've created the last stage is to compare. So you can see on GitHub now, this is my copy of this Fumito Blessed is my copy of the project, and it's forked from this project. Now, for me to contribute to SBOS online, once I've done the changes on my own local copy, I come here and compare. Now, it's important that you do that because GitHub will automatically check to see if you've broken anything. Now, you can see checking mergeability. Now, you can see these branches can be automatically merged, meaning that I've not broken anything. So this is very, very important because if you break anything, then you have to go back and unbreak it. So now all I need to do is just create pull requests. Now, then you can put a comment, add comments to repository. So leave a comment. We are demonstrating how to create pull requests. So this comment can be anything based on what you do. Now, allow edits by maintenance. The last step is just create. Okay, so break anything means that, you know, software is very sensitive. So sometimes you create a change and then your change will stop something that used to work on the software from working. So that's what it means by break. So if in the process of trying to make a change to a project, you stop a functionality, say for instance, maybe it's a social media app, and then in the process of trying to tweak something, I break maybe a like button. So the system, Git automatically checks to see that you have not broken anything, or you see that you have not stopped anything from working. That is the that's the essence of, you know, Git checking. Git is, everything is automated, does all these things behind the scenes. Now, I've added my command. All I need to do now is just to what? Create pull request. Now, immediately I create the pull request, the owner of the GitHub repository gets a notification, you know, this person has requested. Now, you can see something like this: incomplete installation, click to complete and rebuild. Now, the reason this happened is because the project I just committed to, requires a build, right? I hope you are here. And I did not do that build. So basically, a build is so like when you create a software, especially when you use frameworks, you usually need to build it before you know, you can push, before you can make the changes. Now, I've not done any build, but I don't have access to do that. So I'm sure this is just happening because this is it's a template. It's a templating. It's a software that requires templating and all those things. And those are the things that usually need to be built. But the idea is just, you know, to show how you can do something. Now, I can still decide to go back and do the building, but then that will mean setting up the environment, and you know, this is a I'm guessing it's probably a Django app, is it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so it's Django. So it's going to need me to do some Django installations. I don't think I have Django installed on this computer. So it's going to need me to do some Django installations, builds, all those things, which we don't have time for right now. But the aim really is just to show you how easy it is to contribute to open source. It's seamless. Like once you can follow those 6 steps, you know, select the repository. Now the big work is usually, you know, finding a repository. I feel that's usually the biggest challenge, finding the repository that you want to contribute to, because it has to be something that, you know, aligns with the things you like to do. Like for me, when I contributed to Free Code Camp, it's because I like to teach, I like to educate, I like to, you know, share knowledge. So when I see that, okay, they have these things and then there are no articles, I'll just go back, write out these articles, and then put them on it. So it has to be something that aligns with what you like to do. So for me, I think that's usually the biggest challenge. So find projects on GitHub. You find projects on all sort of things. If you're interested in health, if you're interested in education, you find hundreds, if not thousands, of open source projects that you can contribute to. You just need to be, you know, comfortable with using the programming language. And even if it's just their documentation you can contribute to, by all means, please contribute to it. So I think I've spent beyond my 20 minutes, but I hope we all get the idea. The idea is, just do something, learn. Now, the biggest, I think for me, the biggest advantage of being a developer is knowledge. So you have to be willing to learn. You have to be willing to, you know, do the work on your own. Like do some research. So like if you think that you still have maybe issues, especially maybe as it relates to Git and GitHub, and maybe creating pull requests, feel free to contact me. On all social medias. My handle is Fumitoblessed. So even if you need to contact me, I'm easily contactable on my social media. I usually find out, a link to my email address or anything. Basically, anything. If I'm open to, anybody that's maybe you need a time, maybe an hour or two to just talk things through. Feel free to reach out to me. I would leave my email address. Let me just write it here. So email. So it's just contacts. So that's it usually. And drop me a message. You can drop me or reach me out on any social media. Twitter, I would usually respond fastest to Twitter. I'm not very active on others. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, it's the same thing. So or email anyone. I'll be happy to. So thank you very much, Maiwa, for the opportunity. Yeah, I think I'll hand over back to you now.
All right, thank you very much, Fumito Blessed, yes, for that fantastic presentation. You actually went beyond what we were expecting. This is more like a very full introduction to open source, contributing to GitHub. And it's a good thing that this video, or rather, this presentation is being recorded. So there's going to be a video, because someone just asked that, is it possible to get a recorded session of this? So yes, we are going to make the video available for you to watch. All right, so Coach Fumito, thank you so very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I might need to run. I have a meeting at 12, so I'll be here till then, but maybe just a few minutes before then, I might just have to run out so I can prepare for that.
Okay, that's fantastic. All right, so
I just sent him, Mr. Fumito, I just sent you a message on Twitter. And I
all right,
also, if you respond. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll be having one more presentation, actually, and the coach is already on ground. It's basically the same thing, still, but from another presenter. So it's my pleasure to invite Abdul Wahab Adebowale Ashimi to give us an introduction to Git and GitHub presentation. Abdul Wahab, are you there?
Okay. Good morning, guys. I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are very audible.
Yes, can hear you. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thanks a lot for this.
Okay, so my name is Abdul Wahab Ashimi, and I'll be talking about introduction to Git and GitHub. So we have been like for the past 1 to 2 hours, we have been hearing about Git and GitHub. So what is Git and what is GitHub? So that's basically what I'm all about right now. Like, is there a difference between Git and GitHub, or are they the same thing? And why are they called distinctively? We say Git and we also say GitHub. So why do we like use that and? So so basically let's say as a team, like we are all on this video call right now, right? So let's say we all want to work on a particular project together as a team. We want to collaborate on a single project. We want to contribute to the same open source project. So you find out that there are many ways to actually exchange code. Let's say, okay, all of us here now, we are software developers at Code Camp. Then we are to build the official Code Camp website, right? So if I'm building the front page, Mr. Fumito is building the about page, Mr. Philip is building the contact page, right? So let's say I'm done with my own part of the code, then I want to share my own code to Mr. Fumito to add his own code to it. How do I do it? There's an option of using email, and there's an option of like copying my codes into a flash, go over to his house and hand it over to him. But there's also an alternative way, and that alternative is called version control. So that's where Git comes into the scene. Like there's a lot of version control software, like a lot of them. There's close to like 20 version control softwares. But like Git is like the best of all, like it's the best of all. So Git is a version control system, right? It can be used on different kind of computers. Either you're using a MacBook, or you're using a Windows computer, or you're using a Chromebook, whatever PC you are using. You can even use Git on your Android phone as long as you have your terminal installed. There's a particular application called Termux. If you have Termux installed on your Android phone, you can use Git on it. So Git is basically just like a Google Doc for coding, or if you're a designer, you know about Figma. Yeah, so it's just like that, where a group of people can come together and collaborate on the same projects. So now that is that about Git. So what is GitHub? So GitHub is essentially a platform for collaboration. It's like a social media for developers. So just like as we're having Hacktoberfest now, we actually go on GitHub and look for a lot of open source repositories to contribute to. So that's what GitHub is all about. It's like a social media for developers to be able to connect, collaborate, and work on projects together. So GitHub is a platform, while Git is a software or a tool. So GitHub is a platform as a service, while Git is a tool as a service. So GitHub now provides, like GitHub utilizes Git to perform its action. So without Git, there is no GitHub. Okay, so how to like create an account on GitHub. So if before now you do not have an account on GitHub, so there are actually two options you can create your account on GitHub. So I'll be sharing that with you right now. So the first option is if you are a student, like if you are in a university, like or a college of education or whatsoever, as long as you have an education mail, like if your school gives you an edu mail, you can go to education.github.com and sign up from there. So there's a lot of packages that are actually going to be given to you by GitHub. There's some coupons, some free offers, and a lot of that. So you can see this GitHub Student Developer Pack. So on this page right here, there's a lot of offers that GitHub are actually going to give to you if you sign up as a student. If peradventure you have an existing account, you can still come to this place and apply. So you get a 1 year Canva subscription. You get $100 in Azure credits. You get AWS education worth $100. You get free domains, free hosting accounts. You get free JetBrains license, Unity Student Pack, and a lot of other benefits if you sign up as a student. That's if you have a student email in your university. But on the other hand, you can sign up regularly as a regular user on github.com. So once you go to github.com, you can sign up as a regular user. So let me try logging out so that I can actually put you to the sign up process. Okay, so as a new user, once you come over to GitHub, so this is how the page essentially looks like. So over here, you have to insert your username actually. So your username should be like, any word that actually represents you. Like maybe you can use your last name or your nickname or whatsoever. So your username might have numbers or symbols, but it should just be something that relates to you. Then you like your email address and also a password, like a very strong, a 15 character password containing words, numbers, and letters. Okay, so that's how you like sign up on GitHub. Okay, so let's try exploring GitHub. Let's say you are done with your sign up and you can now like sign in, right? Okay, so once you sign in into your GitHub account, this is essentially how your GitHub account is expected to look like. So on this area where you see activities, all activities, it's like the Facebook feed where you see your friends post and all of that. So on this page now, I can see that, okay, this particular person has started following this other developer. Afolayan is forking a particular repo. Brad made this particular repo. So it gives you updates on what the persons you follow are doing so that if you're interested in catching up with them. It's just like how we share posts on Facebook. So on this section where we say explore repositories, these are like open source repository you might, based on your interest, like you might be interested in connecting, like you might be interested in being part of, right? So on this other hand here, like on the left hand side here, you have the repositories you have created in the past. These are some of the repositories I have created or contributed to. Then I have themes. So on GitHub, apart from being able to create repositories, we can create what we call themes. So these are some of the teams I am part of. So teams are actually sub part of organizations. In GitHub, we have a place where like your company or your organization or a community or a group of developers working together can decide to create a GitHub organization. Then inside the GitHub organization, they split it into teams. So you can find the team here. So this is like the navigation bar, right? So here we have the search. You can search for, like, if you know some existing repositories you want to work with, like maybe on, like, as we're having this call, or maybe at the meetup or somewhere, somebody just told you, like, okay, I just recently created this GitHub repository. It's called React.js, and I'm looking for contributors. So the person didn't give you a link or how to get it, but the person told you the name. So you can just come here and search for the repository, or you can even search for a user. Like I told you, okay, my GitHub username is ibn-ashimi. So you can just come here and like search for me, right? And you just like click your search button, like your enter button, and it will do the search. And so it will do the search, right? And you can find, it brings out the results. Yeah. Okay, so apart from the search, we have the pull requests. So why Mr. Fumito was talking earlier, like when he was presenting, right? After after making all his like changes and all of that, you know, he made his push and came back to GitHub and tried updating his change to the main repo. So he was making a pull request to them. So this is how like pull requests are, like you tell people that okay, like changes you have made, like repos that you found and you made changes to them and it was updated. So these are some of the pull requests I have made. So issues are like maybe you saw a rep, like you found a tool you worked with, then at the course of working with that tool you found some bugs, like the way we go to Facebook every day or the way we go to Twitter every day. You know, there are some certain times where you want to click the like button on Facebook, then the like button start misbehaving and it's not working, or maybe you want to view a profile picture, it's not like you don't have data but it's not showing. Like there was this time last year where on Facebook, when you log in into your own personal account, every of your friends, their display picture is showing your own picture instead of their own picture. Like every picture you see on Facebook is showing your own picture. It was like a bug or like an issue. So assuming Facebook was actually open source, you could actually look for their repository on GitHub, then place an issue. So placing an issue is like you're making a complaint. It's like you're making a complaint or telling them that, okay, there is something wrong with your code. You know, as programmers, we are not perfect. There must always be bugs. So just like you're telling them, like, man, there's something wrong with your code though. It's not cool at all. So once like there's this kind of bug, right? So somebody else can, so just the way we are going to work on open source now. So it's from issues people know what to contribute, because I can't just like get someone's code now and instantly know, okay, this is what I want to contribute to the code. The first thing I will do if I want to contribute to your code, like if you tell me, oh, I just have, like I created this repo, it's been around for like a year and I have guys working on it, but then I want you to contribute on it. So if you give me the link to the repository, the first thing I will do is I will go to your issues, find the complaints that people have made, then start making changes based on that issue. So that's what issues is all about, like complaints people have made. So this bell button, of course, we know what bell buttons are usually for, its notifications. Then aside that, we have this, that plus sign and this drop down. So we can create a new repository. We can import an existing repository. Like let's say you already created a repository, then something happened. You have cloned it to your local device, but something happened. You mistakenly deleted it from github.com. So you can import it back from your local system. Then this is a gist. Like to create a gist, like a gist is like a blog, a sub blog inside your GitHub. Like let's say you have a particular repository you're working on. Then at the course of working on that repository, you know, we have some persons we call technical writers. So what technical writers do is like they write documentations and all of that, tutorials and stories around tools. So if your team now has an in-house technical writers that write updates, news, informations, documentations, tutorials, all of that on your repository, on your work. So the person is expected to create a gist that the person work with. But these days, we hardly use gist. Most persons use blogs. So you have a blog somewhere like you're going to have codecampus.com/blog, where you can always go to check updates about the Code Campus project and all of that. So organizations, I made mention about organizations earlier, like a team or a company or a group of developers working together as a whole. So they create an organization where they can create a lot of projects inside. Then we have projects. Like project is if you are like working on a full, like a large application that is going to have a lot of sub repository. Like if you check facebook.com now, facebook.com, if facebook.com is going to be hosted on GitHub, it's not just going to be a single repository, because all of their files cannot stay in a single repository. It's going to, like, even the home page alone is going to be a standalone repository on it, having a team of like 10 to 20 developers working on that alone. So every aspect of Facebook like is divided into a lot of repository. So all of them together is a project where you have your avatar. You have option of your profile here, so you can go to your profile. So you can, so this is my own GitHub profile, right? So you can see your activities, the updates you have made along the line, the updates you have made throughout this year. So these are some of the updates I've made this year. So you can actually access most of your most important repository from here. You can see the organizations you are part of from here. You can see your highlights and the stars you have been awarded. Just generally your profile, right? Then you can access all of your repositories from here. So you can access all of your repositories from here, right? Then we have organizations. So from that point, you can see all the organizations. These are all the GitHub organizations I'm part of. So you have projects. I haven't essentially. So I don't have any projects yet, so it's empty. So if I'm actually going to create a project, so it's going to appear here, right? Then I think stars. Oh, sorry, I think I mistakenly logged out from my GitHub account. Okay, so these are gists, right? So these are gists. So this is a gist I created to some lines of code I may need later. If you're interested in that. And you have stars. So stars is like you find a repo you're interested in, but instead of like cloning or fucking the repo, you star it, like you favorite it. You know how you favorite something, like you give it thumbs up, like you save it for later, yeah. So that's what star is all about. Like you give it thumbs up, like, okay, kudos. So the owner of that repository is like notified that, oh, someone starred your repo, like the person sends you thumbs up. Yeah, so something like that. Okay, so now let's explore a particular repository, right? Okay, so let me go to my profile and let's explore a particular repository. Let's see how a particular repository looks like. Okay, so this was a Google Chrome extension, a clock I created as a Google Chrome extension. So like this is how a repository page is essentially going to look like. So here you have the author's username, then the name of the repository here, right? So this is watch. So assuming this isn't my repository, but I fell in love with the repository and I feel, okay, I want to know what is happening in this repository. So it's more like I want to do amebo. So I feel I want to know whatever is happening in this repository, any changes, any update they make in this repository, I want to know. I want to follow the repository. So I click on this watch, so you can see I'm not watching this repository. So I can actually click on this release only. So if any update, any new version is made on this repository, if I put it to release only, I will receive an email of the updates. Then this watching means I want to hear every information that is happening on this particular repository. If someone makes a pull let me know, not about the repository, not even send me any single update. So if, like, for example, I was a contributor to this, like as I'm a contributor to this repository, but the repository now has not gone absolute, I do not care about it anymore. I don't want to hear anything about it. Like, I'm no longer interested in it, so I can put it to ignore, right? So I can put it to ignore. So whatever happened on the repository, I won't know. So we have star. I told you about star earlier. So we have fork. So fork is if this repository wasn't mine and I'm interested in creating a copy into my own GitHub account so that I can work with it. So I make a fork. So issues. So on this issues page, we're going to see like all the issues that people has made about it, but nobody has made any issue about this particular repository, so there won't be anything here. So pull requests, so the pull requests that people have made, right? So on this part now we see master. So master now is a branch. So inside a repository, if we're working on a repository as a team and making a change, someone else is making his own change, but we don't want our changes to clash, so we can branch it. You know, it's just like a tree. You branch it. One person is working on the right, another person is working on the left. So at the end of the day, when we are all done, we can compare our changes, then merge all the branch back into the master branch. So the master branch, as the name implies, is the main branch. So we can always create sub branches. So you can see for this, there's no sub branch, so it's just one branch. So these are all the codes inside the repository, right? So at this place, we're supposed to have a README, like a documentation, but there is none for this particular repository. Then here is the language that we use for this. So I used JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, right? So I haven't made any updates or new versions, so there's no release for this. And this is like the about, like a short about the repository, right? Okay, so like some other terminologies we have around GitHub, you know, we have been saying fork, we have been saying branch and all of that. So fork means like first, like if you want to work like the developer workflow, right? And the terminologies. So if you want to work on a particular repository, if you are working on someone repository, if you are a developer, right? So the first thing you are expected to do on a repository that is not yours is to fork the repository. So fork means you are creating your own copy of someone else's repository, right? So after a fork, like a branch, so the branch means a parallel version of the master copy of a repository. So you already have your own copy of the repository, but now you're not making an extra version. so you can make your changes without breaking the working version. So stage. So while Mr. Fumito was working earlier, after he made his changes, you can see he went to his terminal. Then he wrote git add. So git add now is used to make a stage. You use it to stage your code. So a stage means like is to add a group of code like to the next level. Like, okay, I'm done with this. Like, it's just like, let's say as a writer, you write in your notes, then you arrange the pile of papers that you have written. You arrange them to one side. Okay, I've written this, I've written this, I've written that. So commit now is how you now bring all the changes you have done together. That okay, I've made all these changes and I'm ready to push it. Like I'm ready to pass it on. Like I'm completely done with all of this. So when you commit, you include a commit message to tell them what you have done. Like, okay, this is what I did. Then merge. So merge is how you bring your branches together. Like, okay, I've done with all this branch and I'm sure there's perfect changes. So now it can like, we can now outthrow the update. So you merge all the branches together as a whole. So all the changes that every individual has made are now put together as one. So I essentially wouldn't be going into like a practical because I feel Mr. Fumito has done justice to that aspect. So if you don't have Git on your personal computer yet, so you go to this particular website, git-scm.com. So once you go to git-scm.com, so you go to downloads. So when you go to download, so you can find whatever version that is suitable for your computer. So we have for Mac, we have for Linux, we have for Windows. So you can just set that up yourself. So that's like basically all about GitHub from my end. Okay, so this like the stuff I was telling you about, right? So you can like clone. So use the git clone to clone a repository. So once you go to your terminal, I have the repository URL which you can find from this end.
Hello. Okay, so Abdulwahab, are you done? Okay, so we can't get audio from Abdulwahab at the moment. That has been a very wonderful presentation, which I believe everyone on this call has benefited from. Many people have actually dropped out because it's not easy to be on a call for 2 hours. Yeah, but then we are recording this session and we'll make it available for all attendees. We dropped a link to a WhatsApp group in the chat. You're advised to join, because we will keep the conversation ongoing there. The training, further training, further mentorship, further coaching. Someone is asking, what is the country code? What do you mean, Sahid Khalid? Your question is not clear. Can you unmute yourself? Okay, you mean to have the WhatsApp. Just click on the link in the group. Click on the link and it will take you automatically to the WhatsApp group. That's how WhatsApp operates. Yeah, so we have seen a couple of people have joined already. Okay, so thank you very much. I want to use this opportunity to appreciate everyone that has joined this virtual event, and to all our coaches, Philip Obepa, we are very, very grateful. Thank you for your presentation on open source. Fomito, Blessed, we are grateful. Thank you so much for your presentation on making pull requests, and also to Abdul Wahab Adebowale Ashimi for your presentation on Git and GitHub. This event is being put together by Code Campus International, a coding bootcamp with a vision and a mission to develop and train world-class software engineers with guaranteed job placement. So by attending Code Campus, you are not only coming to learn programming and coding. The moment you are graduating from the bootcamp, we are going to be placing you in jobs, okay? Because we have the information, we know where the vacancies are, okay? So you can check our website, codecampus.com.ng. Check us out there, and you can apply for any of our programs. So at this moment, we'll be calling it a day, and I want to use this moment to call on the CTO of Code Campus International, in the person of James Atadoga. James is actually joining us from the United States of America. So he's going to be giving us a vote of thanks. He's going to be thanking, he's going to be sharing his a vote of thanks to everyone on this call today. Okay. Over to you, James.
Yeah, hello everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you for everyone that has taken out of their time to to attend this event. And I'm sure the sessions has been insightful, and I'm sure you guys have learned a lot. And for a lot of people, everything might just seem like there's so much things to do. Like, where do I start from? How do I learn? And sometimes it might seem daunting, but the most important thing is just for you to take the first step, and just keep practicing. Start from somewhere. Everybody started from somewhere. I started from somewhere, and even those two that are coaching it, everybody started from somewhere. So just from what you have learned today, just think of something you can create for yourself, for your house, and just start working on projects. Try and put it into practice, and very soon, before you know it, you begin to build things, and you'll be amazed at the progress they are making. So thank you, everyone. Thank you also for the coaches that took out of their time, to present, to create to create presentations for this and everything. And I really appreciate you, and even for those people that have listened to you, I'm sure they themselves are really thankful to you too. So thank you, everyone, and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
All right, that was James. Thank you very much, James, for that vote of thanks. So we actually promised that this event today is going to last for just 2 hours. Initially, we wanted to have it for 7 hours, have lots of activities. People, after the presentations, then people be performing the hacking, which is the pull request and all that. But because of data consumption in this part of the world, which is a bit expensive, we would no, we decided to have it for 2 hours. So we are not having it for that length of time anymore. But the conversation continues, and that is why we have dropped a link in the chat, in the chat group. Join the WhatsApp group specifically created for this event, and that is where we will continue the conversation. The goal is to ensure that every attendee masters Git and GitHub and performs their 4 pull requests. In fact, that has to be done before the end of this week. Okay, so today is Thursday. Latest by Saturday, every one of us that have attended this event must have performed 4 pull requests on GitHub and qualified for our t-shirts. We will be having more of this in the course of the month, minimum of 2 more. Okay, so you are also free to join us again in any of the events, virtual events that we are going to be organizing. Hopefully there should be another one next week. Okay, so my name is Mayo Kwadioti. I did not introduce myself at the beginning of the call. Pardon me, sometimes it's like that. So you can actually reach out to me on social media, Mayo Kwadioti, across the social media. I'm going to drop my name on the chats now. Okay, so by reaching out to Mayo Kwadioti, you will find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, but I do more Facebook, Yeah, so I think you would, it would be nice if you can send me a friend request on Facebook. Yeah. So at this junction, does anyone have anything to say? Like a parting shot? Maybe our coaches or attendees, if you have anything to say, you can unmute yourself and let's hear you. Anyone?
Okay, thank you all very much. It was a good learning session. And I want to say that I picked up a thing or two from the sessions from Blessed. It's a blessed session and the Wahab. And also I'm really grateful and I hope that we get to do more of these sessions as time goes on. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Philip Obefa. Thank you so very much. You have been someone that has been very helpful, in the course of time, being one of our coaches that have been volunteering your time. And you have done it again today virtually. Sincerely, on behalf of Code Campus International, of which you're a member of the family, thank you once again for being a part of it. Any other comments? Okay, so in the absence of any other comments, the event is officially ended. Thank you.
How do we get the recorded videos?
Okay, so the recorded video would be uploaded on YouTube, and then we will share the link. That's one of the reasons why we all need to join the WhatsApp group. I think someone was asking for it again. Let me drop the link once again. Okay, so I just dropped the link again. That is where we are creating a special community for Hacktoberfest. We already have a community, Abuja Hacks, where many of us got the information and registered from. Okay, but this time around, this one is a special community dedicated for Hacktoberfest. And then maybe at the end of October, we might decide whether to end the group or to continue activities. Yeah, someone is just joining us. But at this junction, the event is officially over. Thank you, guys. Everyone, please, if you don't mind, can you just open your video? Can you start your video? so that we can just take a snapshot. Sahid Khalil, yeah, it's good to see your face. Philip, nice seeing you. Ayodele Samuel, good to see you. Sadiq, I mean, good to see everyone. So let me just take a shot. All right, can we all wave our hands like this? All right, just a second. I don't know, my camera is, okay, just, all right, good, taken.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. So, do we still want to network? If we want to network, we can set up a breakout room that you can use to network and get to know ourselves for the next 5-7 minutes. Is it a good idea?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
All right, so I'm creating a breakout room now, and then every one of us, I think maybe we'll just do 4 per room. Okay, so you can network in your rooms and meet some amazing people, make some amazing friends.
Wanna make love on the moon, dancing to my tunes. Easy too much, not too much. I wanna be a fortress, if wishes were horses. Easy too much, it's not too much. If I want body me, I do what I practice. If I want body me, I'm all by my shoulder, I'm all by my foya, I'm all body me. Yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. Yala, yeah, anybody, anybody, yeah. But that dollar, sorry, major, oh, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire. I wanna wake up in a Lamborghini. I want to fly for Santorini, make bonita Sicily. Oh, yeah, yeah. If I want body me, I do what I practice. If I want body me, I'm all by my shoulder, I'm all by my foya, I'm all body me. Yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. Yala, yeah, anybody, anybody, yeah.
Because it's successful.
Wanna make love on the moon, dancing to my tunes. It's not too much. I wanna be a forest if wishes were horses. Is it too much? It's not too much. If I want body me, I do all kinds of practices. If I want body me, I'm all by my shoulder, I'm all by my foya, I'm all body me. Yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. Yala, yeah, anybody, anybody, yeah. I'm that dollar, sorry, major, oh, yeah.
I wanna be a bee. You're almost finishing. No, the meeting is still going. Huh? No. But we'll finish now.
I wanna wake up in a Lamborghini. I want to fly for Santorini. The bonito Sicily. Oh, yeah, yeah. If I want body me, I do all kinds of practices. If I want body me, I'm all by my shoulder, I'm all by my foya, I'm all body me. Yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. I wanna be a billionaire, billionaire, yeah, yeah. Yala, yeah,
How was it?
It was great. It was great. I met with Philip and Mr.
All right,
Thank you
fantastic.
so much for that. Thank you for that.
It was superb. It was superb.
All right.
Hello, Said.
All right, so thank you guys for joining. I see quite a number of us have joined the WhatsApp group. We would stay in touch there, and then we'll be having more of this in the future. So,
Thank you very much. Huh?
James, Philip, Sadiq, Abdul Malik, Ayodele, thank you guys for coming. Have a
Thank you
fantastic.
very much.
Cheers.
Thank you, Mr. Akko.